Thanks, guys. Okay, so today we are going to cover the holiday opportunity on X, so why this year is going to be unmissable. We have our creative best practices, so this is where we'll talk about some rules, some hacks, and how you can really win on X. Then we'll do some strategy examples, and we want to show you the brands that are actually doing it right. And then at the end, we have a live Q&A. So you'll be able to ask questions. There's a QR code where you can ask your questions and we will get back to you on the spot. I also, before we head into this, want to take a moment to do a shout out and promote our amazing ads specialist teams. So if you have any interest in getting a one-to-one consultation where they can help you get your ads set up for the first time, they can review that your current ad campaign setups. They can also help review and troubleshoot your pixel setup. It's an amazing time to take advantage of that, especially around the holidays time period, because you want to make sure that your business is set up for success. So we have a link. We'll put a link into the chat where you can put in your contact details. And if you want them to do a review or consultation or anything like that, you can sign up through that form. Alrighty, so we'll dive in. Oh, and heads up, just before we get stuck in, please don't record it or take any screenshots of the session. We will send this through to you afterwards and other resources as well, so you won't miss anything. Alrighty, okay, so we'll kick off. Okay, so the holidays on X, or the holidays are a cultural heartbeat, and X is where the pulse plays out. It's where people share gift ideas, family traditions, and moments that make this season meaningful. It's also where inspiration turns into intent. So users move from celebrating to searching, from liking to buying. And X is the cross point where the culture becomes commerce. And at X, the scale of the engagement that we have just keeps growing. So we now have, this is going to be a big stat slide, so bear with me. So we now have 548 million monetizable monthly users that are spending 364 billion user seconds daily and generating 8.4 billion video views every day. So that is up 38% year over year. Again, some of you guys who have been here previously will have these stats might be familiar to you. But all of these numbers are basically to say that X is the numbers are rising, and it's not just passive reach, it's active participation. So we have millions of people that are reacting to what's happening in the world, and it's in the moment that they're happening. So they're shaping the conversation together. So when you think about the holidays, or even take a step back and look at other kind of big key cultural moments and events that are happening in the world, X drives intent and engagement for users and businesses alike. So on X, authenticity is the DNA. It enables businesses to deeply connect with our users, engage with them in real time, and be part of the conversation when it happens. And that's kind of one of the priceless parts of being part of the X community, and it's where users can or businesses can gain customer trust. And so on X, gifting is not just a tradition, it is content. So we know that 90% of our X users will exchange gifts this year, and that users are 1.6 times more likely to find Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals on social media platforms like X. So for businesses, this means that every post, every ad, every reply has the potential to turn into an action. The conversation on X turns directly into shopping decisions. So 1 in 4 users on X are already planning to buy a gift for their friends this winter, or nearly a third of our users are likely to purchase digitally. So we've talked about investment in the holidays. So holiday holiday deals, gift giving, and that conversation is global. So it's not just a casual conversation, it's the purchase that turns into action. So, as you can see here, the holiday spending and our e-commerce is consistently on the rise in the US. So we can see that 90 or 994 billion was spent on holiday sales um, in 2024, and we can only expect that that will rise in 2025. So our X users have serious spending power. So that means they have a real intent to purchase. They're 69% more likely to spend this holiday season than last year when we compare them to our non-X users. So the audience, the emotion, and the intent are already on our platform. So now let's see how brands can win by joining in on this moment. So we are gonna pass over to Jessica.
I think it's me actually.
Sorry, Miles.
No worries. All right, guys, we're going to talk more specifically about your creative assets, building your ads, and making sure that they're extremely captivating and engaging with the audience that exists on X so that you can encourage purchases, encourage exploration of your product catalogs, even app downloads if you have an app. So we'll get right into that. Best thing to do is to start with the copy. We want to make sure that it captivates. If you go to the next slide. So our best practice is that shorter is sweeter. The more concise that you can make your message, the better. You only have really a few seconds with a user before they determine whether your ad is interesting or not. So when you are creating an ad copy, we recommend that you go between 50 and 100 characters maximum. Make sure that your copy is simple and it gets straight to the point, and you have one clear message that you focus in on. So this is a great example from Mack Weldon. They keep it really concise and really draw you in. Our best-selling Air Knit boxer briefs are uniquely designed to keep you cool, dry, and comfortable all summer long. So they really focus on the value proposition of their product and don't get into the weeds with details or anything of that sort. So our best practice and recommendation to you is to keep your copy as short and sweet as possible. If you go to the next slide, another best practice is to be authentic. X, unlike other platforms like Instagram, TikTok, etc., is where people get really authentic, and that extends to brands as well. So that applies to an organic approach in your posts on the platform. It's important to be true to your voice, to speak naturally, to speak directly. Don't be overly salesy or fake with the audience here because they tend to respect brands that are very real and truthful with them. So when you're developing your ad copy, be sure to make sure that you are not being overly salesy. Don't use too many buzzwords. Just be really clear about the value that you're providing with your product or your service to that user, and they'll begin to trust you and they'll begin to be interested in what you have to say on the platform and the products that you're selling. So be authentic. It's a key to succeeding on X in both organic and paid strategies. If you go to the next slide. Another great thing to encourage action, I know a lot of you are selling products on the platform, is to create a sense of urgency. So why should I, as a user on X, be inclined to take immediate action on your ad? What is the reasoning for me to want to click on it right away? Because you only have their attention for that one moment where they see your ad. Um, whether that's a limited time offer, a new release, something that is timely in their lives, whether it's like, depending on the timing of the holiday season, the holidays are coming up in 1 week. That's a reason to go and look into your products if you haven't done all of your shopping and you're leaving it to the last minute. If you have a sale or a Black Friday offer or something like that, that's important to highlight in your copy. Just give everybody a reason to take immediate action and tell them why they should be clicking on your ad to your website and then to purchase. Next slide, please. And then finally, you'll want to make sure that your call to action is extremely clear. So whether it's directing somebody to your catalog to learn more or explore your products, or go specifically to a product page to make a purchase, add to cart, etc. You want to be very clear. If you look at the bottom of this ad on the right, you'll see the CTA text is pre-order Battlefield 6 now. It's very to the point. It's very clear what action you'll be taking when you click on that media and to that link into that website. So when you're creating the headline field within your ads manager and you're building out your ads, just keep this text as simple, as small, as short as possible, and you'll be very compelling. If you go to the next slide, and then the last thing, minimize the distractions. With your ad, you're aiming to take users directly to your website, directly to your shopping page. You don't want them to, you really don't want them to respond to your ad. You don't want them to go to your profile. You don't want them to go to other destinations. You really want to focus in on your website. So we do not recommend including any at mentions in your ad copy, as these are distractions from what your actual goal is, whether that's to your page or a partner page. Just leave at mentions out of it. We actually recently banned or prohibited the use of hashtags in ads because of this very reason. It was drawing people away from the ad itself and away from your website, which is your goal ultimately in advertising on the platform, is to get people to your website, your properties, and to purchase your products. So we got rid of hashtags. We got rid of multiple emojis because it was distracting. It looked a little bit spammy. We really want to keep this text on ads really concise, really compelling, and just keep your message front and center. So no at mentions whenever possible, no hashtags, no multiple emojis, and just keep people focused on your creative, your copy, and your website link. And now we'll move into creative. 97% of people on X focus on the visuals. So it's really important that yours are eye-catching. They feature your product, your message, your brand really well. And whether you're using an image or a video, make sure that there's a clear connection between the copy that we just ran through and the image itself. It's better not to repeat what you're saying in both, but to say something slightly different and more intentional with each of the two different elements. So if we go to the next slide, you'll want to make sure that you're sharing your message as quickly as possible, whether that's in the copy or the image. We actually find that people are looking, in the order of where people look on an ad, they're looking at your creative first. So if you have one thing to leave people with when they look at your ad, it should be within the image or the video. If you have a slogan or a tagline or an offer to communicate to your audience, that should be in the visual. And then if you have supporting text, supporting messaging, that is something we recommend for the copy, the actual ad post copy. As it says here, it takes literally 50 milliseconds for someone to form an initial opinion about your brand. So make sure that you're leading with your most strong and most important message, and include that within the visual, whether that's an image or a video, because that tends to be where people's eyes are drawn to first. Next slide. Another great tip is to optimize for mobile viewing. 80% of those who use X use it on their mobile devices. So it's important to optimize for smaller screens and shorter attention spans, which are only shrinking. So whether that be, for aspect ratios, we recommend 16:9 for a rectangle, and then 1:1 for a square, which actually takes up the most real estate on the ad. So I actually would recommend a 1:1 ratio. And then if you're creating vertical video ads, which are really compelling, obviously they're taking over the industry. 9:16 aspect ratio is best for that full screen immersion in that surface. If you go to the next slide, another great tip is to diversify your creative. So don't just create one ad. People are going to get really tired of that one. And it may not be the most effective format. So you want to be sure to try out like 3 to 5 different ad formats. We've seen great results when our advertisers are diversifying the formats, the copy, the imagery, the videos that they're displaying on the platform. It gives people a little bit more of a chance to see what more you have to offer. Sometimes you'll be served an ad from a business, say it's your business, and maybe the first ad doesn't resonate with them, but they sit on it for just a bit of a second and they sort of get a glimpse of what your brand is about and what products you're selling. But then they see another ad later. Because we obviously learned that you are somewhat interested in this ad, so we'll serve you another one. And with that next one, it should probably be something different. The message should be a little bit different, so that they learn more about your brand and your products. And it's not the exact same message as before, because then it becomes annoying, it becomes repetitive. We don't want that. So I highly recommend 3 to 5 different formats. Change up your imagery, change up the video, change up the copy, and try out different strategies. And when you do that, you're actually able to go back and say, within your ads manager, which of these ads are performing best? And you might find that one format performs significantly better than the others. And then maybe you want to double down on those formats, create different versions of just that one, and really optimize your campaign. So definitely start out with a diverse set of ads. Next slide. Awesome. And then lastly, I'll leave you with video is super important. As Shauna mentioned earlier in the presentation, our video views are growing 38% year over year. People are coming to X to watch video. And so if you're able to captivate them with an immersive video experience, whether that be our vertical video ads like you see on screen here, or standard timeline 1x1 or 16:9 videos, those are going to capture attention a lot better than an image or just a bit of text. So highly recommend, if you do have the capability, to include video in your campaigns, as it'll be much more compelling. Next slide. Awesome. And now I'll hand it over to Jessica.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. As I mentioned, I'm Jessica Gast from the Next team here at X. And I'm just going to go through quickly a little bit about our team and how we can assist you all. And then also, I'm going to share some additional creative ways in and ways to tools that can help you create better content, as well as some hacks. And again, this is just the beginning of the conversation. These are my favorite types of creative sessions to lead, where we work with you and kind of brainstorm and give inspiration. So this is just a little glimpse into that. So next slide, please. Just a quick, again, moment to think about or to explain a little bit about the Next team. So our work really sits at this intersection of culture, creativity, and technology, all to really help brands tap into conversations that are already happening here. So we're here to help you do that, whether that's, like I mentioned, a brainstorming campaign ideas, refining a brief, or pressure testing something that could work best on the platform. So really think of us as kind of your creative partners on call. Our team is here to help. And so everything we do is really grounded in this real-time conversation, and it's powered by, we can do everything from custom technology to a simple post, right? We build ideas that move within culture, backed by data, and really designed by creatives. And so that balance of strategy and creative is really where our work stands out. We've got a cross-disciplinary team that can really plug in when you need support. I'm a strategist, so I can cover the insights and the ideas, along with making those turn into platform native creative. And then lastly, for the next slide, simply put, we can really add value at any point, but we come in best in the beginning before you're about to brief. Essentially, when we look good, or when you look good, we look good. So just we want to come in early to help you think through ideas and add the most value. And like I said, when you look good, we look good. So let's talk about creative. On X, people scroll fast, which, Miles mentioned. Your first impression really has to hit immediately. 94% of first impressions are design related. So really visuals matter. So it's all about clean, bold, high contrast imagery. It really performs better with something that's over designed or hard to read. It's not about shouting louder, it's about being instantly recognizable. So let's go over a few, one more, if you go through 2 more, keep going. We got a few hot tips. Here we go. So let's talk about how to do that, how to be instantly recognizable. And this is a quick, we can, I use this, some brands use this as a little placemat, just as a reminder, of when you're checking yourself after creating, content, or as you're working to plan. First, lead with your logo. Don't bury it. People shouldn't have to wait long to know who's sharing content. I always say within the first 3 seconds. Front load, all of that within the first 3 seconds. All of your messaging should kind of hit home and know what the the brand is talking about within those first 3 seconds. Third, caption everything. People watch on mute more than you often think. So just make sure you're building for sound off, but surprise and delighting with sound on. Number 4, fill the feed. You can use, 9 by 16 or 16 by 9 or 1 by 1 to really maximize the real estate and the space on the timeline. Number 5, keep stories short and punchy. 15 seconds or less is really all you need. And then number 6, stay in a safe zone. So your logo isn't cropped out. Make sure you're using those correct asset, specs. So we can really make sure that everything is seen and correct for the platform. And lastly, make sure you're keeping copy brief. 50 to 100 characters is really the sweet spot for when you're writing a copy for each post. And that's again also for recall. So let's dive into some creative hacks. This is really some fun stuff that our team uses to make, and that we suggest to use like standard ad formats and make them really feel fresh. I have probably a presentation of 50 of these, but I took a few of my favorite. It's really just some small design or format tweaks that can make your content stand out. So first, let's dive in and think about ways where we could use some text art as design. So instead of, dropping a product photo or, there's an option here of really, building your message in text form. We have some real brand examples here. These are, just some ones we kind of created, but you can have a little fun with text and it stands out because it feels native. To me, this is something like, a creator would post, not necessarily a brand. This example, a surprise for you today, a little BOGO offer, right? So the user can click to find out more, but it's just using a little bit of the text to build something. And again, we're here to help you kind of create that. But again, just having some fun within the feed. Another one is an X's superpower is really you can tap into the platform's entire archive of conversation. So brands can really resurface like a great organic post from a customer or a creator or someone, and turn it into an ad. It's really social proof in its most, kind of authentic form. And it keeps you part of the existing conversation, not forcing a new one, right? So this example took an example post from John saying he stopped by the barista bar and got a smile. So what's in this latte? Is it a mood enhancer, right? So it's just a fun way. A lot of brands kind of get a little cheeky and have a little fun with, user generated posts. Another thing here is really a reminder to use mixed formats. And Miles touched on this, but I think using multimedia, and this is kind of our four different image posts, but you can use video, GIFs, static images to create something that feels really dynamic. The more movement and variety you have, the more you can stop the scroll. And so this is how it would show, up on the timeline here. And it really lets you layer in storytelling moments without, having to produce, a full commercial or a full asset here. This is a fun way to tell a story. And so again, we're here to kind of help build that. You come to us with a brief. We're happy to help kind of create some ways where we can bring that to life. Next, one of the examples here of ways to hack content is cropping. It sounds simple, but it's just a fun, effective way, to hack images on the platform. So first, users would see something like this that would just encourage them to, click or open for a surprise. And if you go to the next slide, you can kind of hide or surprise Easter eggs in these cropped images. So the user clicked on it and had to expand the post to see what's there. So it really taps into the curiosity and boosts engagement instantly. It's a simple way to add a deeper story to something. So that's, again, just a little bit of a tease of how we can help on the next team and how we can help you create content. But I'll pass it to Shauna to see how we can take what we've talked about today and put it into action. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Um, yeah, so how do we activate everything that we just chatted about? So, um, for us, it's literally as simple as launching a campaign. So whether that is a campaign that just inspires discovery, whether you want to connect with the real-time conversation that's happening on the platform, as we know, which drives intent. And then we also have our conversion campaigns where we are driving measurable conversions through our performance ad solutions. So yeah, it's pretty very simple and easy to do. And there's something for whatever way you want your business to be on the platform or however you want you to connect to the audience. Um, so essentially, the magic happens when your brand joins in on the conversation at the speed of when it's happening. Um, Alrighty. So, okay, so we're at our final slide. So we have our Q&A section. If anybody wants to submit your questions in here, now is the time to do so. Um, while people are submitting questions, I'm just going to take a moment again to kind of thank you guys so much for your time. For anyone who's been with us this whole series, we really appreciate it. We also want to make sure that your business grows and succeeds throughout the holiday period. So again, I want to make sure we shout out our ad specialists. This is an amazing opportunity for businesses, whether they're new to the platform, if they are running ads and if you're currently running ads and you need a bit of help, or if you want to get a setup review, if you want to get personalized recommendations or personalized support, I would definitely recommend that you fill in the form that's in the chat and put in all your details, and then we will get someone from our team to reach out to you directly. It's an amazing opportunity, especially this time of year, to make sure that your business succeeds on the platform. So let's have a look at some of these questions. Okay, so we have a question here. So, how do you recommend testing creatives? A separate campaign, and then the winners get moved to a scaling campaign using a separate campaign for web traffic rather than sales to test performance, and then moving the winners to the sales creative. Or we have a monthly spend around 15 to 20K, and we aren't sure most effective way to spend it. And we're trying to scale the winners and test new creative. Okay, so my recommendation for this is the way our platform works is I would always start off with one campaign um, that you like. If you want to test your creatives, have your one campaign, your one ad set, and then we would always recommend 3 to 5 creatives. The way our algorithm works is that we prioritize like recency and relevancy. So what we would do is change your creatives every 2 to 3 weeks. And so again, similarly what you were saying, as I turn in that campaign, I would turn on turn off the worst performing creatives and then add new creatives in, because that's how the algorithm works based on recency. So I would definitely test it. The way I would also recommend is like every campaign is obviously very different. So I'd make sure that you're going into it with a very test and learn mindset. So making sure that your creative is relevant to the audience to make sure it's relevancy and continuing to test and learn.
And to add on that, just I always, a separate campaign with, focused on the goal is really kind of what we suggest, optimize for learning, not necessarily conversion efficiency. So like each time you want to have one creative per ad set so you can really see the true performance differences that, so it's all about learning and kind of finding what works best, setting up that test campaign. And then once you kind of have those winners, move those creatives through like, the sales optimized campaign. So really That way you can avoid mixed test and, and have, you're not muddling that learning phase. And we're happy to kind of have a side chat a little bit more about that. And then also, talk through how we can, break down your budget percentage wise to make sure that you're moving it through the funnel. But really, don't kill the test too early. Really make sure you're tracking performance. And again, we can kind of uh, help you with that, and make sure the creative concepts are working towards the goal. And then also, I just saw the next question about the next team. Since I'm speaking, I'll go ahead and chime in. So yes, the next team is part of the of X. We're kind of like an in-house creative agency in a way, not an outside agency. We're the internal creative strategy production team. So a lot of us have background in ad agencies, and we kind of take that and bring it to an internal team here. So that's how we're able to help advertisers in that same way.
We have a question here, and this one I might direct over to Miles. It's kind of something that you touched on earlier. So we work with multiple biopharma and healthcare companies. How would you say that these practices can fit their audience? A couple of our clients use paid media for conferences, like such as clinical trial recruitment. However, a bulk of their work is done through organic social content. So again, just from my side, I would say there is a lot that healthcare businesses can do when it comes to creative, especially when it comes to like building brand authenticity and building a community. And I'll hand over to Miles for further details.
For sure. All of these best practices that I spoke about earlier would apply here. The one thing to note with a lot of healthcare products and services, there's a lot of fine print requirements in creatives. So I actually recommend there's a QR code on screen for you to speak with an ad specialist. They would have all the details on those policies to help you follow them exactly and to implement all of these best practices in the way that would be most suitable for pharma and healthcare. So yeah, I don't have all these details on me at the moment. I'd recommend you speak with somebody specific using the QR code on screen.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, we have that team that are on hand to assist for anybody that has kind of policy related questions. Definitely get in touch and they can help you out there. And then we have a question saying, do you support server side conversion tracking similar to Meta CAPI? Yes, we absolutely do. We have our own Pixel and we have our own CAPI as well. So again, if you scan the QR code, we have some Pixel experts that are able to help you get set up for success, and they can troubleshoot your Pixel or your CAPI and make sure that everything is set up and running perfectly in time for the holidays. Alrighty, I think that's all the questions we have. Okay, so again, yes, thank you guys so much for attending, and that for those who've been here the whole way, we really appreciate it, and I'm really excited to see the success that your businesses have over the next couple months on our platform. And again, as I said, I'd really take advantage if you're new to the platform, if you have ads that are currently running, if you need support, definitely get in touch. As I said, our team of amazing specialists are here to help, and they want to make sure as I said, your success is our success. So we want to make sure that you guys are thriving on the platform. So that's it. I'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Jenna. She's behind the screen, but she's been the powerhouse behind all of this. So we appreciate it, and we'll hopefully see you guys very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.